All right, anybody want to guess what's happening now? Yes. Mike Pompeo's running a little late. He was at the White House taking care of business. So we're going to be the first people he sees after he leaves the president. He's on his way to be here momentarily. So we're going to make the best use of this time. I've asked Paul Teller, who's a special assistant to the president, to join me on the stage. Please welcome Paul Teller.
What, did you pay them? Did you say that or something? Should we sit? Okay.
Wow. You love Paul,
Hi, I'm Mike Pompeo. Actually, I'm not nearly as nice as Mike Pompeo. He's a fantastic guy, who you'll see in a few
seconds. Paul's one of us, and we're just grateful for the work he's doing in the White House in keeping conservatives actually not plugged in, because we are plugged in, but he is facilitating a lot of activity, and I've asked him to come give us an update on some of the things that have happened just this week in the White House, and I'll begin with the issue of immigration. Director Kudlow mentioned a little bit about it, but yesterday there was a speech in the Rose Garden about a new immigration plan, a legal immigration plan. So Paul, why don't you hit the highlights of that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for thinking of me as a good fill-in while we wait for the good Secretary of State. Yeah, hopefully some of you saw it live. The president rolled out yesterday in the Rose Garden. Some of you were there, actually. A very hot day. And
yeah, it was a hot day.
Some people's bald heads were burning in the sun yesterday. That was fantastic.
Why were you looking at me? I got hair.
You got hair. You got fantastic hair. And we can get you all the details. But one part of it that I really want to emphasize is this is an initiative that has border security first. A lot of folks have said, wait, why is he getting away from border security? Not getting away from border security. This is a border security first plan. But what drove him to introduce this was the fact that over the years, I think many of us are guilty of just kind of saying, we got to have border security. But what does that actually mean, right? Like if you just kind of throw more money at existing bureaucracies, that doesn't seem to be working. And so he wanted to come up with a plan that would actually implement border security with real numbers, increases in judges, increases in agents, technology, the wall, which isn't specifically as part of the rollout, but none of that wall effort goes away. This is just an add-on effort. And making it basically a higher hurdle to get into the country. Up to this point, and again, we can get you the exact percentages, but a very low percentage of immigrants that come in legally to this country come in because of skill or a job or immigrant. I think it's about 12%, right, is the number.
This raises it to 57%.
Exactly, that's the goal. So we're basically flipping the ratio so that more legal immigrants come in for skills-based reasons, education-based reasons, merit-based, is what we're saying. And fewer come in for family reasons. It's not to say we're not going to have family-based immigration. We are. We still protect the nuclear family.
Right, the nuclear family, away from the chain where you got your
right.
second cousins, third cousins are coming, and it's the spouse and the children in the immediate family.
Yeah, exactly right, exactly right. And also, an important part of this, which he emphasized yesterday too, is this patriotic assimilation, meaning why do you want to come to America? Tell us why. What do you know about America? And not just kind of, I think the way it works right now, and I'll admit I don't understand all of the details, but from what I understand, there's kind of a superficial kind of quiz towards the end of the process, as you're kind of already there already. So almost no matter what happens, you're getting your documents. This proposal would do it much further towards the beginning of the process, make it much more stringent. Maybe you've even had to take a class from, Larry Arnn at Hillsdale College or something else online like that to show that you really know what America is. You share American values. You're going to stick to those values when you come here.
Actually, I know you're kind of joking a little bit, but I actually think part of the program that conceptually is, it was discussed, is that there will be entities that help people understand what America is about, because that will facilitate them immigrating to the country legally, because there will be a higher bar.
Yep.
The numbers don't change, about 1.1 million that will be coming in legally each year, but as I said, the bar it comes higher, and the focus is on what makes America work, not what works for individuals.
No, that's right. And also to emphasize this point, is very important to the president. He doesn't want increased displacement of the American worker. So there'll also be a higher bar for companies to show that, hey, if I'm taking a legal immigrant from outside the country, it's because I've cleared many, many hurdles, and for some reason cannot find the proper American worker. If all those hurdles are somehow cleared, then you can get your legal immigrant worker.
Another aspect, not of this particular policy that was unveiled yesterday, but the issue of building barriers on the border. You know, the media doesn't really want to report that progress is being made.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He actually mentioned it again. I'm forgetting the exact numbers right now, but there have been significant barrier constructions in Texas, in California. Some have been reinforcements of existing barriers, which is important too, right? If you have kind of weak, fence that's there and you suddenly turn it into, those steel slats, even though it's, the same mileage that's been covered, you're now protecting it better, and the Border Patrol appreciates it better because fewer folks are getting through. So yeah, it's happening, and none of that goes away, because we had some of that feedback yesterday. Oh, you're stopping the wall, you're turning away from the wall. Not at all. That continues full steam ahead. We're going to do our best to get more money appropriated from Congress. We can use the help of everyone in this room for continued pressure to get more appropriated funds and fewer restrictions, because that's what we should look out for in the next few months as we come hot and heavy into the appropriation cycle. The Democrats will look in many different places to restrict the use of wall funding. So they may say, sure, here's $1, but you can't use it for barriers, fencing, walls, or anything that has to do with the southern border. So we have to watch out for those restrictions.
I want to change topics to another issue that was announced at the White House this week. It pertains to what's happening on social media. I think people are beginning to see, as we move toward 2020, there is this effort, it appears, to choke down conservative conversation online in the tech world. The president announcing basically a hotline to report bias that you see on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate your flagging that. The president takes this very seriously. He's very angry about this. He doesn't like the thought that his people, his base, conservatives, Republicans, are being, deplatformed, kicked off sites, edited out, blocked from, their free speech rights. And so, yes, grab a pen and paper real quick. Let me give you the website. Because just literally yesterday, we went live with the White House website, and its only purpose is to report your experience being deplatformed or otherwise have bias against you on any of these tech giant websites. So it's wh.gov/techbias. So TECHBIAS. I think it's all one word there. So wh.gov/techbias. And I checked it out myself this morning. You'll see, you go right to there's nothing else on the website, but please submit your story here. Share this to anyone you want. Let them share their story. We're going to be collecting the stories, see where the trends are, aggregate them, and go from there and hopefully have some solutions.
Yeah. In fact, I would highly recommend you put that out to your networks.
Yeah, please do.
And let people know that it's out there. Because just the fact that the White House is making this, it's saying, look, we're watching. And I think that's going to make a difference in and of itself. Although I would say this, I think the left, in a coordinated fashion in the tech world, is preparing to try to silence as much as possible, at least to squelch the conservative voice going into 2020. No doubt in my mind what I've been seeing with not just social media platforms, but all of the tech industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's important. He feels your pain. He's angry about it. And so this is our at least one step, and we'll see what kind of information we can gather and go from there.
I think we got time maybe for one or two questions. I'm getting messages that the Secretary will be here in about 4 minutes.
Great.
So if you got a question, raise your hand. We got a microphone that will immediately come to you. I sprung that on the microphone, folks.
It's at least a hand over here.
All right, here we go, sprinting down the aisle.
The lights make it tough to see those hands, don't they? Right?
Here we go. First question.
Jim Hansberger, Legal Immigrants for America.
There you go.
I would like to give you your personal congratulations on your effort on this issue. But also, I ask if E-Verify wouldn't help your issue.
I appreciate it. Thank you for bringing up the E-Verify issue. I don't know why this happened this way, but in the fact sheet that we sent out, hopefully all of you got it. If not, happy to get it to you. There is a very vague line in there about making sure employers only hire people legally allowed to work in this country. That's E-Verify. So E-Verify is in the plan. We just didn't say it very well in the fact sheet. It's very frustrating because all day I've been getting questions from the Hill, from the conservative world saying, why no E-Verify? And having to point to this vague line in the fact sheet. So I apologize for that. We'll try to clarify, but it is in there. And actually it leads me to one other very important point. Some people said, well, why didn't he roll out bill text with this initiative? The truth is, we did a lot of work on this, especially the Office of American Innovation, Jared Kushner's shop, Stephen Miller's shop, some other folks did tremendous work on it, but still wanted to get feedback, especially from the conservative world. So they felt that if they put it out with bill text, it would make it seem like it's a final product, take it or leave it. If you remember a couple of years ago, that's how we rolled out a suggested healthcare reform bill, Obamacare repeal and replace. We said, here's a bill, and a lot of people were angry about that. So there was a deliberate thing not to put out bill text. We're going to get feedback, tweak things as need be, add things, remove things, and then hopefully have bill text in the coming weeks.
Very good. Time for one more question. Here we go.
I'm Paula Hansberger of Legal Immigrants for
See you again.
America. About political asylum, the Venezuelans as well as Nicaraguans, our complaint was that the refugees, that America opened the borders for the people that were the victims as well as the victimizers. The victims came very poor because they had lost all of what they owned. And the victimizers came to live like queens or royalty. So what is President Trump, is he aware about this issue?
He's definitely aware of I don't know about that specific case, but the asylum problem in general, absolutely. It's actually in our proposal as well. We'll get you the exact details, but we do sharpen what credible fear is. There's a lot of folks that just know the right words to say, right? When they get to the border, they read their script, and once they touch one molecule of American soil and they read their asylum script, we can't kick them out, and that's going to be changed.
Very quickly, the issue of the CAP group, CAP's meeting, Conservative Action Project, ongoing project, meeting weekly, but now once a month.
Yeah, this is a fantastic development. So Vice President Mike Pence has invited the CAP group, which of course is an offshoot of CNP, to meet once a month in the office of the Vice President. We've already done it once. We did it a few weeks ago. It was a fantastic meeting. I see Mike Thompson in the corner. It was fantastic at organizing it and making that happen. Our next one is coming up this very Wednesday. Mick Mulvaney will be the featured speaker. And once you have these on campus like that, it's just easier to get great senior level speakers, so that should be a pretty regular thing.
You helped. Paul Teller, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's show appreciation to Paul Teller.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you, good sir. See you soon.
All right, it is now my